Media Program in the classroom and online. dcmp.org.
Film Ideas Incorporated presents Biz Kids, Crash Course on Starting a Business.
Almost anyone can start a business, and there are 5 key steps.
Christina.
Are you sure there aren't 7 steps?
Devin, I heard there were 9 steps. Alright, there are a lot of steps, but this is a crash course on starting a business.
Amanda.
I don't know if we should associate the words crash and business in the same sentence.
Then how about we start with the first step, the idea.
I thought the first step was marketing.
Marketing what? The idea.
I thought the first step was to make a profit.
Profit off what? The idea.
I thought the first step was the funding.
Again, funding what? The idea.
How about a plan?
This is all part of the plan to sell the idea.
Okay, so first you get the idea.
Now, any idea how we end this?
I have no idea.
We're entrepreneurs who made millions from magnets.
2 girls throw money.
I was going to middle school and I wanted magnets for my locker, and I drew up some designs and I put them into bottle caps, put them into my locker, and snap caps were born.
Maddie.
I don't really know how the idea necessarily came to me. I just saw a bottle cap and thought I could come up with something from it. After I'd seen such a positive response from friends, I decided that other kids out there probably would like them, and I went to my mom and I said, "Can I sell these?" And she said, "Okay, well, first we need to go out to the bank." And I had saved up all my money, and I withdrew $300, and my mom matched this amount, and that was used to buy supplies. I just walked into the toy store and said, "Hi, my name's Maddie. I'm 10. I'm wondering if you wanted to sell my product." And she decided to give me a shot since I'm a kid. And turns out they actually sold. We were approached by a sales rep here in Dallas that wanted to sell snap caps for us. And now we have tons of sales reps across the country that sell to all 2,500 of our stores. We made about $10,000 in revenue our first deal. We're in the millions right now. It's kind of crazy. I never really would have thought that it would have gotten this far. I just thought maybe at the most a few local toy stores. My sister is the vice president of M3 Girl Designs.
Margot.
I help Maddie come up with ideas because I really like fashion, and also I know what my friends like. My favorite design is probably my dog, Annie, because I really like her a lot. And that was one of our first designs. I've got to say, working with my sister is most funnest of all.
This is where our employees make snap caps every day, and this is where the bottle caps turn from this into this.
A necklace.
I draw all the original artwork, and then we have employees who reproduce them. It just started off as an after-school project, and my mom, sister, and I would all make snap caps together, and now it's, I guess you could say it's kind of turned into like a snap cap empire. I think a good idea is something that you don't have and that you can't find, but that you want. Just make sure that whatever you do is your passion. My passion is art, and I love to create, and so that's why I came up with snap caps, because I got to incorporate my love for art into what I do.
The described and captioned media program provides services designed to benefit students who are blind, visually impaired, deaf,
So we're going to look at Chapter 1, and these are the early steps and the key decisions you need to make before you open up your own bakery. So we're going to be looking at different types of bakeries in this chapter. We're going to look at different types of operations as well. So overview of this chapter, the concept to reality. You may dream up something, but in reality that dream may not work. So we're going to look at the process of going from what your idea of your perfect bakery is to what is actually able to work. What are your specialities? Right now you have no specialities. So what you guys are going to do is you're going to come up with your specialty that's going to focus on your bakery. What type of bakery is yours? We're going to look at franchises, because what you're going to actually do is you're going to take a subsidy of Tiger Cafe. You're no longer Tiger Cafe, but you're falling under the child company of Tiger Cafe. And since you're kind of franchising it, you're allowed to do different things within reason, but our signature drinks, our key drinks are all going to stay the same. You're not going to be able to change that because you're still under a franchise. We're going to look at failure. Failure is an option. Types of business organization and your job as a bakery owner. Concept to reality. When we are looking at the concepts that you guys are going to develop, I want you to think about interests. What types of foods interest you? Are you wanting to do cupcakes? Are you wanting to do donuts? Are you wanting to do, breads, or just, breakfast items? So you need to come up with that idea. Again, it has to be able to be reasonable. But if I was to say, you're just going to make donuts. Well, you might not like donuts, and you don't want to make donuts, and that's not going to be a great fit for you. So you're going to need to get with your team, and you're going to come up with a concept that's interesting to both or all of you. Then you're going to be able to start identifying the skills that you have in your bakery and to see if they work. So let's just say you want to make breakfast foods. Breakfast foods are ready-to-eat foods that have to be made by order. If you're not fast enough, you're not detailed enough, that's not going to work. So maybe thinking on something that you can do and have it prepared and have it ready to be sold during that hour would probably be best for you. On the other hand, you may be fast on your feet. You may be able to fry up some eggs and you want to make breakfast sandwiches. By all means, go right ahead. But you're going to have to look at your skills and to really ask yourself, what are you capable in doing? You and your group, you have to express your goals for your operation. What are your goals? Now, your goals need to be monetary as well as a business goals. Do you want to see yourself as the premier donut location in McIntosh, South Dakota? Do you want to see yourself as the only location within 30 miles that makes croissants? Whatever your goals are, we're going to have to work towards them. So you need to express your goals, what you want from your operation. Learn what tools you need to be able to make the progress and getting it done. How are you going to see if you need to improve your recipe? Are you going to do customer surveys? Are you going to get out there and you're going to ask? Are you going to do samples? Things like that. What are some of the tools that you're going to need to have in order to make this progress and to get it done? And then lastly, we need to evaluate the marketplace to see if there's a need for what we want to do. So if we are opening up a breakfast cafe that serves the same exact things as a new cafe that's opening up down the street, will we have any business? Probably not. But if we're operating during the school time, during first hour, we might have teacher business, the ones who can't just go across the street and get a breakfast sandwich. So you'll have to see what the marketplace is and see if we fit into that niche. So, what are your specialties? What will my customers relate to best? When they walk in, what do you want them to feel? Now, the first time we did our operation, our Tiger Cafe, it was a little overwhelming. But what I want to see from now on is you getting in there and you actually take in the reins. Standing back, being silent when people walk through the door, that's unacceptable. If you operate a business like that, you're not going to have customers come back. You have to make yourself personable. You have to, identify when that customer walks through that door. You need to make them feel like they're valued as a customer. How will I be excited to represent this to my customers? So when they walk in, start selling them, start upselling them. Hey, guess what? Today we just have our brand new flavor of cinnamon roll loaf. It is amazing. You have to try it. Give them a sample. The samples usually push themselves. If it's a good product and they taste the sample, they're going to want to buy the rest, especially if it's in the price range. So, now that we've kind of talked about what you need to do as an operator, what type of bakery do you think that you're going to be able to do? There's a lot of different types of bakeries, and you need to figure out what your interest is, what your specialities are in order to make it profitable and a growing business. So these are different types of businesses that our chapter talks about. We have cupcake shops, we have day parts, we have donut shops, we have specialty retailers. So when you're looking at this, where do you think that you're going to fit into this? Be honest with yourself. what type of bakery, what type of business would work best in this climate. Now, we're not able to sell every day. We're not able to sell to students. So our clientele is going to be adults and community members. You're going to have to market to those individuals. You're going to have to learn how to advertise to those individuals. There's a couple of businesses in the area that regularly buys coffee from us. So that would be the clinic, that would be the courthouse, that would be the social services office. Those are the type of places that you want to give flyers out. You want to go and give them free samples of things to make them excited about your business. So if you look at this list of items here, you'll have the type of bakery it is. You'll have the capital. You'll have fashion and fad. What it means is that low, medium, or high refers to how much money you need to start this business up. If it is a low capital bakery, it means that it's usually pretty specialized. You don't need a lot of different equipment. You'll just need whatever equipment it is to make those donuts or to make that bagel or to make that cupcake. It's not a cafe, so you're not having to do multiple different types of foods. So a medium capital, it may require a few specialized equipments. High capital is going to require a lot of equipment. It's going to pretty much need to be a full restaurant to start. So that's what the low, medium, high stands for. Fashion and fad. Fashion and fad, it refers to whether or not a product is in fashion for a long, specific period of time. For instance, wedding cakes. Wedding cakes will have and have always been in fashion. You go to a wedding, there's a wedding cake. Now, the type of wedding cake will vary. There's different types now. There's the naked cakes and things like that. A wedding cake in the 1980s looks completely different than the wedding cakes of today. So if you are operating a wedding cake bakery, you're going to stay in fashion. Wedding cakes are in fashion. However, the type of product you pull out will have to change with the times. So, to be in fashion means it's something that's going to stay around for a long time. So we're going to look at these right here. Bakery and florist. The one that comes to my mind is in Lemon. They have that flower box. It has like a little cafe, just a little coffee shop, and it has a florist. So that is one of the things that are in fashion. People drink coffee, people buy flowers for Mother's Day, whatever. Going down to the fads, bakery and pizza. Kind of a weird combination, but we'll go with this. Pizza is a fashion, bakery is a fashion. Smashing those two together, it's a fad. People don't go to a pizza joint looking for, a bakery most times. So that's a fad. Bakery and wine bar, it's faddish because it is a fad. It is something that's starting to catch on. Bakeries are starting to stay open later at night, and that crowd's going to have a dessert bar, so they'll have some cocktails and some baked goods. So it's faddish. So when you're thinking about your business that you're going to operate, just think of this. We are only operating for a semester. You can jump on that fad bandwagon. What is popular today? It may not be popular in a year. It may not be popular in 4 months. But what is amazingly popular right now? Cash in that. Maybe that's what you're going to focus your bakery on. Again, look at your specialities, look at your skills. Is it something you're able to do? If it's not, then stick to the tried and true classics. Go fashionable. Do cupcakes. Do a bakery. That thing like that. Check out this bakery. Now, as you watch, make a decision. Is it a fad or is it in fashion?
Our flagship location in Demonstration Bakery at Fisherman's Wharf in San Francisco, California. We are ready to bake some great San Francisco Bodine sourdough. this is where the story begins. Inside this room here, we have something historic. We have something that we have been able to keep alive for almost 200 years that came in with the 49ers in the Gold Rush era. This is our mother dough, the best sourdough you can get. Every day, we take a portion of the mother dough to mix with flour, water, and salt for each day's bake. We also save a portion of the mother dough and feed it with flour and water so it can continue to grow and reproduce. By tomorrow, it will triple in size. Mother dough has lactobacilli and wild yeast that generates byproducts causing the bread to rise and give it a complex, sour, chewy texture. The prominent lactobacillus in Boudin's mother dough is called Lactobacillus San Francisco and is a bacterium native to our city by the bay. Now, our second step. We're going to be mixing salt, flour, water, and a piece of mother dough. 4 simple ingredients. Same recipe for almost 200 years. As the dough gets mixed, it creates a strong gluten structure that creates pockets that form the structure of the crumb. Now we're ready to start weighing it, rounding it, and letting the dough rest. The dough rests in the overhead roofer for 20 minutes. Then we shape. We then proof the dough for 24 hours in a cool environment to slow down and allow for a long, slow fermentation. Fermentation is when the yeast feeds on the glucose in the dough and produces carbon dioxide and byproducts. The CO2 bubbles up through the gluten and stretches, forming air pockets. This long, slow fermentation is what gives Boudin San Francisco sourdough its distinctive, tangy flavor, chewy texture, and dense crumb. Our next step is scoring. Every loaf of bread that we bake here at Boudin has a signature look. At the same time, the scores act as a chimney. So the gas will go straight up and it will make a very uniform loaf of bread. The oven is going to release steam and it's going to wet the surface of the loaf of bread that will soften up the crust. At the same time, it will seal completely the loaf of bread. And then at the end of the bake, we'll get it to brown really beautiful. And all the gas packets that we're able to build up through the fermentation will escape right up the edge of the crust and creating all those wonderful bubbles. It's a signature for our Boudin sourdough bread. Our bread is ready. Let's pull it out. Look at the beautiful crust, beautiful bubbles. Very tangy flavor, very chewy. It's actually a perfect loaf of bread. So after 72 hours of hard work and to be able to come out with a product like this, it's just so rewarding. I love it.
Alright, so franchises, pros and cons. Now pros means good, cons means the bads. So we're going to look at both the good and the bad of a franchise. Now, the good things about franchises is that a franchise is basically the name. If I am to open up, say, a Panera at the corner of Main tomorrow, people know what Panera is. People's been to Panera. People have been to Paneras in maybe Bismarck, all over the country, but I have that name behind it. So when they walk into that door, they know what to expect. I already have a client base because they're excited. Oh, Panera, I love Panera. I can't wait till it's open. The cons. Panera is a corporate franchise, meaning I have to sell Panera products. I have to sell the same type of products they sell in Bismarck, the same type of products they sell in South Carolina. It's going to all be the same because I have to offer it because it's got to stay consistent. I might not have that marketplace. I may not be able to push, fresh baked breads because this is an area that doesn't care for fresh baked breads. But it's a Panera. So in order for me to franchise it, I have to offer that. So that's where you have the cons. There's a lot of pros with a franchise. The cons may outweigh the pros, and if that is the situation, franchising may not be the best option for you. Now, looking at some of the things monetary-wise, owning a franchise, you have to pay startup. You also have to pay a franchise fee. So there's a little bit more money involved with the franchise, opposed to just, one day waking up and building a bakery on the edge of that corner and say, yeah, this is Keisha's Bakery. I don't have to answer to nobody but myself. So there's pros and cons about owning your own business as well as owning a franchise business. So failure is an option. Why do most bakeries fail? Well, most bakeries, most restaurants, most businesses fail because they don't have the money, because they don't cost their food properly, they don't manage their waste properly in terms of, they cook too much, or they make too much, or they order too much product, and it goes in the trash. That costs money. Those are your costly mistakes. That's what causes businesses to fail. Poor location. If I was to open up a Panera on this corner right here, I'm in a town of 250 people. I am not going to survive, which is really sad, and it makes for it almost impossible to get any type of franchise in this area because of that. Franchises look at the number of people in the vicinity, the demographics, and unfortunately our demographics aren't very good. Our demographics are older, and the numbers are very, very small. So poor location. Poor production. If you are putting out crap, no one's going to buy your crap. So if your food is not good, you're not going to have business. Merchandising. If you are selling crappy clothes or crappy things, no one's going to buy that. So that's why businesses fail, because what they're putting out is not quality, and no one's going to pay for subpar quality. Staff turnover. A business will fail if they have no one to work it. If you have employees being hired and then quitting, 2 weeks, you're losing money in terms of training a new employee. You're losing morale for your employees that are there, because now they have to do two people's job, and that will cause them to quit. So it's this never-ending revolving door. So the best thing to do is to have a location, have a business that you treat your employees well. They're compensated. You make sure that they're not overworked. Then make sure they're happy. Happy customers don't leave, or happy employees don't leave. It's just like customers. We call those internal customers. So your internal customers are just as important as the customers that walk through that door. Lack of controls. Well, being unable to control things like, the cost of milk. Buying milk at Phil's is astronomically high. And when you guys are starting to do your cost or your purchase orders, you're going to see that. If you don't plan well, and I have to buy emergency milk at Phil's, it's going to triple the cost of a drink, and you lose money that way. So lack of controls, lack of controlling, your hours for your wages. If your employees are working overtime, you're paying them time and a half. So you have to be able to control all aspects of a business. Situations beyond your control. If your building is in the middle of a forest fire and you have no customers because, they can't get in, that is beyond your control. That will cause your business to fail because you have no one to come in to, buy your product. So there's a lot of things that are beyond your control, and there's a lot of things that are in your control, and it's being able to balance that. The things that are out of your control, you really can't. If your business burns down, your business fails. Maybe not monetarily, maybe you have insurance, so you're all good, but your business is no longer there anymore. So, types of businesses and operations. We have sole proprietorships. Those are businesses that you own downright. So if you were to go down the street to that main corner, I don't know why
It's 3 o'clock.
obsessed with this main corner, but you open up a business on the main corner. It's your name on the business. You have sole proprietorship. You have no partners. All your money's in it. You make all the decisions. You're sole proprietor. If you and your classmates open up a business together. Now you have a partnership. So our chapter talks about these different types of businesses. I'm not going to go into them in detail, but I do want you to kind of familiarize yourself with this. So your job as a bakery owner, here are some truths about the job. Self-employed people are by nature very busy people. So if you're standing there doing absolutely nothing, you're not a good owner. You're not good at self-employed because you'll always find something to do, whether it be washing a dish, whether it be going through your emails and making sure all of your bills are paid. You should not be sitting there reading a newspaper in your business if you are a self-employed person. Leadership is a learned skill. It's not something that you're born with. It takes practice, practice, practice. And as owners in your business, you will have FCCLA members who are working for you. You need to lead them. You need to lead them by example. So if you're sitting there, doing absolutely nothing in the downtime, they're going to sit there and do absolutely nothing because they're following your example. So you need to be there and you need to be able to lead them. One of your biggest issues will be working in your business, not on your business. You will be always working, just like any other profession. You don't leave this building and the business just operates by itself. You take your work home with you. You're going to come in. You're going to be planning. You're going to be thinking about things the day before, overnight. What can you need to fix? What can you make your business better? If you're not doing that, you're not a positive, you're not a great business owner. Good communication skills are learned and must be practiced. Again, I stress this every time I walk into this room and I see you. You need to learn how to communicate. You need to talk to each other. You need to talk and you need to be able to project your voice. If you're whispering, your customers can't hear you. If you're mumbling, your customers can't understand you. You have to learn how to speak slowly, loudly, and with purpose. Good training is priceless. Bad training is worthless. So if I just said, today I'm going to train you, this is how you make coffee, I'm going to show you how to do it, and then I'm going to walk away and not show you anything else. Or if I give you just a list of steps to do it and you've never worked this machine, that's bad training. A good training has you walking through the steps, have you talking through the steps, have you actually doing the hands-on parts of the steps. And it will take you 2, 3, 4 times sometimes with a trainer to really understand something. When you're working with the FCCLA kids, they have been trained. They've been trained a couple times in the classroom, but they've never been trained on the machine with people in front of them. So there is that difference in training that you have to kind of slowly build yourself into. You're not going to immediately know everything. And if you didn't write anything down, no, you're not going to know anything, and that's your fault. If you're being trained and you're just sitting there looking at them, staring blankly at the person training you, and not asking questions, not writing things down, you're the one who's not being trained correctly. You're the one who's not going to be trained. Your trainer's doing their job fine. You're just not recepting the training. All right, so this is your first assignment. Before you can even start designing your logo and start planning your restaurant, you need to get a permit. So in the real world of business, a restaurant must get necessary permit before opening its doors. So before you can begin establishing your dream bakery/restaurant, the name and theme of your restaurant must be approved by me. To begin the process, you must plan and organize your thoughts as a team. Once you have made some decisions about your new restaurant, you will create a memo to inform Miss Jordan on what you have decided and why. After you receive approval, you can then continue on completing the other elements of the situation or the simulation. Strategies. Since most of what you do in this simulation is based on decisions you make now, make your decisions carefully. You want to be successful when you're running your restaurant. Your memo should be well thought out, organized, and professional. And I've given you a template, so follow it, please. On a separate sheet of paper, after you've done your planning, you're going to write the name, theme, location, your color scheme, what's your logo color scheme, and your signature dish. This is going to be one item that you want to add to the Tiger Cafe. Also, consider your reasoning for starting this type of memo. You're going to open up a new document. You're going to save it as Memo. Now, one person, your CEO of the month, is going to be in charge of typing this memo up. That means the person who's not the CEO is going to be telling him or her what to type. So in the document footer, you're going to enter your name, your team member's name, and the project name Memo. Using your planning sheet from step 1, you're going to create your memo for getting approval to opening up your new restaurant. Use the template that I have given you to help you. Please proofread your work for accuracy, format, spelling, and grammar. When you are all through, resave your work and upload it into Blackboard.